Hello there, and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday the 15th of May 2026. Today's Millwall news. Millwall Football Club can confirm the 2025-26 retained list. Retained and released. Released into the wild. Off to go and play football for somebody else. This is, of course, from millfc.co.uk, the club's official website. Millwall Football Club can confirm its retained and released list following the conclusion of the 25-26 Spygate Championship season. Sadly, hopefully, season would have went on until the 23rd. Was not to be. Long-serving right-back Danny McNamara will depart the Den after over a decade of service in SC16, whilst Joe Bryan, Wes Harding and Massimo Luongo will also leave the club following the expiration of their contracts at the end of next month. The club would like to extend its gratitude to all four for the service they have given to Millwall and wish them well in their future careers. Elsewhere, the club remain in discussions over new contracts with Billy Mitchell, Joel Coleman and Ronnie Sandford, whilst the club has exercised its option for a further year on the contracts of Casper De Noor and Ryan Leonard. Anthony Patterson, Will Smallbone, Turno Ballo and Tommy Watson all return to their parent clubs at the end of their loan spells, with Kamal Grant, Adam Mayer, AJ Matthews, Alfie Massey and Jack Howland set to return to Millwall at the end of their loan spells. All other first-team squad members remain under contract for the 26-27 season. In the club's under-21 setup, Frankie Baker, Jaden Celestine Charles, Ben Drake, Jet Dyer, Dean Forbes, Oliver Whitby have all been released, whilst George Beaumont, Elias Mansour, Caleb Redhead and Harry Taylor have had options triggered to stay. From the under-18s, Casper Lindner, Harvey Whiteman, William Wright, Kane Dixon have been released, whilst Archie Kirby, Jaden Tektas, Jaden Thomas Smith, Sasha Sugita Vieira and Freddie Freedman have all been offered professional contracts. So again, the club would like to place on record its gratitude to all departing for their hard work and professionalism throughout their time at Millwall and wish them the best of luck in their future careers. Interesting, so where it says there with the under-18s, obviously, we've had it in the past where, just because they've been offered a professional contract doesn't mean they actually take that up. Because obviously they have options. They can go to someone else. But we will see what happens. But yeah. Some stay, some go. Not really any surprises to some extent. I mean, I guess Ben Drake to some, he's a very good player, left back. But, is he a championship player? I don't know. But again, here's the thing. It's the under-21s. Once you get to 21, you need to be there or thereabouts in the squad. And he did well for Braintree. He did well, put some decent performances for them. So hopefully, he can find himself a team at least at that level in the National League. We'll see. But we'll keep an eye on this and we'll see how we go. But going back to the first team. So, you got Danny McNamara leaving, Joe Bryan leaving, Wes Harding, and Massimo Luongo. Obviously, some of them, not really a surprise. Massimo Luongo, what is he, 33? He's going to be 34. He did have that, horrible injury that kept him out. I think he's just come back to training now. He might not even be back in full training yet. I think he's just like got to build build up the muscles in his leg after injuring his knee. So even and again, even if he isn't going to keep playing football, you still want to do that, to prolong your health and stuff and that kind of thing. But we've got a right back leaving, a centre back, right back leaving, a left back leaving, and a central midfielder leaving. And then obviously they're still talking to Billy Mitchell. Joel Coleman is the third choice goalkeeper. Ronnie Sanford now, he's an under 21 goalkeeper, but they're talking about him like he's in the first team squad. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe because he's over the age of 21, I don't know. And they've signed up Denor and Leonard on a further year of contract now. Is it the case that Ryan Leonard is probably the luckiest guy in the world in that when you got McNamara, Harding and Joe Bryan leaving, if you can keep some defenders around, you probably want to keep some, so they've extended Leonard's contract. But we certainly do need some defenders in, which is kind of mad, but I mean, we've just set the record for the clean sheets, our own record, not the division record, but our record for clean sheets at this level, this season that's just gone. But, we do need some strength and depth there. And they tried to get that with Kamal Grant. They brought Callum Taylor in. Kamal Grant went out on loan. Then he got injured. So we'll wait to see. Patterson, Smallbone, Ballo, Watson going back. Not a surprise. Again with Ballo, obviously hot and cold, but I think there was an agreement in place. So I don't know. It seems the terms of that agreement haven't been met. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know about that. But do they have other options lined up? Do they have another left-sided attacker lined up? A left-sided Femi Aziz, if you will. Because not only will we need to sign them, we'll need to sign another right-sided Femi Aziz. The way it's going, because it looks like he might be off. So obviously what we got in terms of the players coming back from loan, obviously Kamal Grant was injured. AJ Matthews didn't really do anything at Leyton Orient. Alfie Massey did well at Wealdstone, but for some reason not playing at Southend. We'll get into that in a minute because they got a big game coming up at the weekend. Jack Howland didn't really play for Barnet. Adam Mayer was outstanding for Cambridge, but that was in League 2. And you think, we bought him from a League 2 team. He was playing well for a League 2 team. So, of course, he's going to go and do well in League 2. That's not a surprise. Can he come in and can he be? Is he going to come in and play on the left? And will he be better than Ballo? I don't know. That's a massive jump for him to try and do that, but we'll see if he can do it. We'll see if he can. I don't know. But, a lot to chew on there. A lot to chew on. Now, moving on to this from millfc.co.uk, Mill's official website. Interesting enough, so the page we just shown was the retained and released list, and it seems Danny Mack's the only one who's got his own. He's got his own page. He's got his own farewell. Obviously, he jumped the gun yesterday. Obviously, I told you in the video, but he jumped the gun and he announced it on Instagram, on his own Instagram. Maybe he knew it was coming out today, and he wanted to get ahead of it. I don't know, but the club have given him his own web page to say goodbye. Yeah. So Millwall Football Club can confirm that Danny McNamara will depart the Den next month at the expiration of his contract. The 27-year-old brings down the curtain in SC16, having made 166 appearances in a Lions shirt, scoring twice. After joining the club as a 15-year-old and rising through the ranks of the academy, McNamara made his first team debut in an Emirates FA Cup tie at Boreham Wood in January 2021, before being thrust into Spygate Championship action for the first time 3 days later as the Lions travelled to AFC Bournemouth. Got some pictures here. So that one's from this season. That's an older one there. There you go. After 4 consecutive away matches, McNamara's then debut came in a goalless draw against Watford, which is good for him as he's a defender. That's what you want. With 16 appearances in his first campaign, the right back then went on to play 38 times in 21-22, scoring twice. His only 2 goals for the club in a 4-1 success over Barnsley. He scored 2 in the same game. How about that? A regular in 22-23, 44 appearances, McNamara then stayed on as a regular under a change of management as Gary Rowett, Joe Edwards and Neil Harris took the hot seat in SC16. The Irishman played 35 times in 23-24 before an unfortunate injury ruled the defender out of action halfway through 24-25. McNamara then made 17 appearances in all competitions in 25-26, that's this season, with his last Lions outing coming at Stoke City in April. Everyone at Millwall Football Club would like to thank Danny for his outstanding service to the Lions and wish him the very best for the future. Indeed. And we will keep an eye on you and see where you go. And obviously once it's announced, I'll let you know where he's at. But, I mean, the safe money's got to be on League One, surely, no? Now, moving on to this. What is this? Oh, yeah. X.com, Mill FC. The Football Business Awards. Mark Fairbrother, the Millwall CEO, was presented with the Championship CEO of the Year award at the London Football Business Awards this afternoon. So there you go. And Millwall Football Club are up for a number of awards, but I believe we didn't get them. There's some winners have been announced online, but I can't see that Millwall have won it any more than what you've just seen here. Now, moving on to this. BBC.co.uk. Championship clubs back new squad spending rules. Here we go again. They keep changing it. They're changing it again. It's kind of hard to keep up. Is this good or is this bad? I don't know. I have no idea. This is obviously from the BBC.co.uk. Championship clubs have voted in favour of moving to a new financial framework of squad cost rules from next season, SCR. It broadly brings the second tier into line with the Premier League, which approved its own version of SCR in November. How convenient. It's almost like the Premier League demanded that the Championship teams move over to this model. Isn't it? If you didn't know better, you would probably think that. Right, so SCR will replace profit and sustainability in the Championship, which had limited teams to losses of £39 million across a 3-year period. And obviously we've seen quite a few teams come falling foul of that. West Brom this season apparently accidentally did it. They overspent by 1.97 million. And that was actually a filing error because they thought the money that they spent could have been put under something else, but it was actually had to go under the profit and sustainability, so they ended up being over it. And that got them, what was it, 2 points deducted? So, where are we at? The assessment will now be based on the club's total earnings from football operations and how much of that is spent on the squad rather than a profit and loss calculation. 16 of the 24 clubs needed to vote in favour for the rule to change, so it seems they have done that. Just 3 Championship clubs recorded a profit in 24-25, and one of those, Stoke City, only did so because a £90 million loan was waived by new owner John Coates to offset what would have otherwise been a £29 million loss. The 22 clubs who have submitted their books for 24-25 lost a combined £317 million if you take into account Stoke's underlying numbers without the £90 million written off loan. SCR will limit club spending on player and manager-related costs. So is that just the manager, or is that the staff as well? Including transfer fees. Oh dear. To 85% of income. Okay. Owners will be permitted to make a flexible equity top-up allowance of $33 million over a 3-year period, of which no more than $15 million can be used in any one season. So it's not 85% then, is it? It's more than that. The regulations will include safeguards around commercial deals linked to owners or associated parties. The new framework allows for real-time monitoring during the season rather than reviewing after the event, with the aim of giving clubs greater clarity and club financial reporting unit earlier visibility over club's financial position, an English Football League statement said. SCR benefits clubs with bigger stadiums and lucrative sponsorship deals as it effectively creates a larger budget to spend on players. Modifications have also been made to the salary cost management protocol rules in League One, with the percentage of turnover that clubs will be able to spend on wages reduced from 60% to 50%. Oh dear. Clubs relegated from the Championship will be permitted to spend 65% of turnover on wages during their first season in League One, reduced from 75%. However, a vote among League Two clubs to adopt the same SCMP calculation did not gain enough support. Good for them. What does this mean? I don't know. Obviously, some people saying this is bad for us, because basically it means each team. So before it was about preventing losses. You can't lose money. Now you can lose money, but the amount of money that you spend on players and manager, and again, we don't know if that's all staff or just the one manager, and that includes transfer fees, has to be 85% of income. Well, our income, I think it's something like, isn't it something like 20 million? I don't actually know, actually. The accounts, you can check the accounts. But yeah, well, that might be our losses, actually. So I don't know what our actually income is, but so basically, the big clubs are going to be the big clubs. The small clubs are going to be the small clubs. We're going back to that, which is sad because this season the Championship, it's the most open it's ever been, and we had a chance. We finished third, and not only are they doing this, but they've also expanded the playoffs to 8 places. So are we just going to see the top teams with the top 8 budgets finishing the top 8? Now, this could be a benefit to us as well, because there was a lot of messing around with people having to sell players on the cheap. Yeah, we got Callum Taylor for cheap because West Brom, they had to get under the PSR thing. So we luckily we got him, because if you get a player for your youth team, when you sell them, it's pure profit. Because you bought them for zero because they come for your youth team. So anything you get on them It's pure profit. But going forward, obviously these teams can now spend, rather than not spend, having to sell youth players and trying to do deals where, I buy with this player from you, but you then buy this player off me. So it's kind of like a player swap and all this rubbish that they've been doing. Now they can spend the money. Well, we are now in the business of buying players cheap, training them up and selling them on. So if there are now teams that can spend money, they're allowed to spend money. They're allowed to buy our players. There might be a bigger market for the players that we bring in and want to sell on. Now, obviously, you would hope that we would sell to the Premier, above what we're at. We don't want to sell players to teams in our own division and having them compete against us in the future. But, money's money, and wherever you get the money from, you get the money. So, there is that. So, yeah, I'll have to look into this and see if I can find a nice explanation for what the fuck is going on, what this will mean. But if I do, I will obviously share that with you and try and explain it. Now, moving on to this. Obviously, we just heard at the start of the video today about when players are on loan and their loan's ending. I believe the only player that's still playing, or has a chance of playing, is Alfie Massey. The FA Trophy final is this Sunday. He's on loan at Southend United. Hasn't really been playing though, so I don't know if he's going to play in this. So we have to see if that happens, but yeah, when is it? Can we find out when it is? It's going to be Southend United face Wealdstone in the Isuzu FA Trophy final at 4:30 p.m. and that is on Sunday, the 17th of May. It's going to be live on TNT Sports and HBO Max. So there you go. Now, the thing with Alfie Massey, and this is from flashscore.co.uk. So you can see he hasn't really been playing. Not only that, but he wasn't in the squad. I don't know what's going on there. But that kind of coincided with Southend fucking up their season. So, nice one there, manager. You did very well there. See if you can fuck it up tomorrow or on Sunday, but not play Alfie Massey. So he played 90 minutes against Yeovil. They won that game. Played 86 minutes against Braintree. They won that game. He played 55 minutes against Solihull Moors. They drew that game. And then not in the squad there, not in the squad there, not in the squad there. On the bench for that game. Obviously didn't get on, stayed on the bench. And Wealdstone, which is a team that they play on Sunday. And Alfie Massey was on loan at Wealdstone earlier on in the season. So you would think, he might have something to contribute there, but was on the bench. Which is, not in the squad, not in the squad, not in the squad, on the bench. Not in the squad. So, maybe I don't think it's an injury. I don't think it is an injury. Because how would you be not in the squad and then you're on the bench? And then you're not in the squad? But, yeah. So, keep an eye on that. On Sunday. See if Alfie Massey plays and Southend United win the FA Trophy. Now, moving on to this. Talking about this the story that keeps on going. Because there's no conclusion. There won't be a conclusion until Tuesday. But the playoff final. Now, surely that we're not going to be involved in this, because I think, it's between Hull and Middlesbrough. But some people saying, well, Middlesbrough lost. Surely, why should they be involved? They did very poorly at the end of the season. They did poorly against Southampton. So why should they just be handed the place in the playoff final? I don't know. But this is from FootballInsider247.com. Southampton face 7-figure fine as new proof, in quotes, comes to light in Spygate scandal. Southampton could be fined up to £1 million after being charged with spying on Middlesbrough in the run-up to their Championship playoff clash. This is according to former Everton, Aston Villa, Aberdeen Chief Executive Keith Wyness, who exclusively told Football Insider there appears to be proof the Saints have spied on other clubs as the situation remains ongoing. I mean, yeah. Like, they've had like a 21 game unbeaten run. And now you're putting 2 and 2 together and you're thinking, well, no fucking wonder. They've probably been spying on everyone since this guy came in as a manager. Benjamin Bloom did a video about it. He's got the timeline of all the events. I might share the video. But it's well worth watching that because it puts it out in chronological order of what's gone on. After securing a semi-final victory over Middlesbrough, Tom de Eckhart's side are now preparing for a Wembley showdown on the 23rd of May against Hull City, who saw off Millwall to reach the final. However, uncertainty remains around the fixture after Southampton have been charged by the EFL with observing one of Teesside Club's training sessions before the first leg at the Riverside Stadium. A hearing conducted by an independent disciplinary commission is now set to take place on or before Tuesday the 19th of May. Southampton could be removed from the players depending on how the panel view the evidence presented by the parties. Middlesbrough's players are expected to resume training early next week in preparation for them potentially facing Hull in the final. So, I mean, Middlesbrough are taking it seriously. They are preparing for the very real possibility of Southampton being kicked out of the playoffs. Now, you think this kind of stuff could be a points deduction, but this is the playoffs. It's not, points deduction in the playoffs, that don't do nothing. Unless you want to give Southampton a points deduction, then retroactively apply that to the division, which would then move them down, which would then put someone else in the playoffs, which I think it was Wrexham. Was it Wrexham who finished 7th? So then what do? You give them a chance? Because they would fucking love that in Hollywood, wouldn't they? Old Hollywood Wrexham. Can you imagine a one-off game between Wrexham and Middlesbrough, and then the winner of that goes through to the final against Hull? I mean, that would be madness. Speaking exclusively to Football Insider, YNS discussed a potential punishment for Southampton if they are found guilty. It's been difficult to get to grips with because all the facts are not known. It does appear there have been a genuine effort from Southampton to try and gain a sporting advantage in my view. Therefore, a sporting sanction would probably be levied upon them. I believe where it's going to end up is going to be a points penalty that will be imposed on them if they get up to the Premier League next year, or even in the Championship if they stay down. As well as points, there could be a big fine. It could be anywhere from £500,000 to £1 million. The playoffs will go ahead with Southampton, in my view, but that will be the sporting penalty. The Sun reported on Wednesday Middlesbrough have information from 2 other Championship clubs that believe they were also spied on by Southampton. Can they prove it? Now, rumours suggest that one of them is Millwall. One of them is Millwall. One is Norwich and one is Millwall. Is that true? I don't know. Wyness insisted the EFL have a big problem to resolve. The allegations are proven against the Saints. Oh, it's just a very difficult thing to judge what benefit they gained from this, given that the playoff against Middlesbrough was over 2 legs, in even extra time, said Wyness. Well, that made such a big difference in that situation. There's also compounding factors of proof coming out that there have been other instances of them doing it against other clubs, which will not be good. Any mitigating circumstances at Southampton were pleading initially that this was a lone wolf and he was doing it by himself. Seems to be proven not to be true. The EFL have got a big problem. They're going to have to be seen to be doing something. Indeed, it's not about punishing Southampton per se. It's about, going forwards into the future. Because we already had this with Leeds and Bielsa, and there wasn't even a rule in place. Now they had to brought in this actual rule, and that rule's been broken. And you go, maybe the guy didn't even know the rule was in place. He's from abroad. Where is he from? Austria, Germany? They probably do that shit all day long over there. They probably got drones up in the sky and all this shit, spying on people. So you never know. But this is going to be dynamite. I would love it. I think they should be kicked out. If it's proven that it wasn't just that one time, they've been doing it all season since this guy came in, which is why they had this unbeaten run. And it just goes to show, if they did spy on us, how great was it, the results that we got against them? The 3-2 where we snatched it right at the end. And the 0-0, obviously, the away game. But, that 3-2, that puts that in a new light now. There you go. Now, we're going to finish with this. I mentioned this in yesterday's video. But the Southern News have covered it, which is, I think it's a good thing. Get us out there, get us wide. Family of former Millwall Lioness and Liverpool boss call for mental health checks for managers. Yes, at the moment, the inquest or a pre-inquest into the untimely death of Matt Beard is going on, and some details have been coming out which are quite shocking, really, in terms of what Burnley Football Club had done. The family of former Millwall Lionesses boss Matt Beard have called for mental health checks for managers. Beard, one of the most successful managers in the women's game, is believed to have taken his own life in September 2025 at the age of 47. An inquest has yet to issue its conclusion, though. Beard led Liverpool's Women's Super League titles in 2013 and 14, and then to promotion from the Championship in 2021 during his second stint. He was appointed Burnley women boss in June 2025, but left the role 2 months later. It was just normal, Matt's wife, Debbie, told BBC Sport, recalling the day he died. We would never have seen that coming, not in a million years. I just wish he'd said something, he's struggling. Debbie added, I want to see a change. There should be a proper mental health checks for managers. It's such high stakes pressures that they're under. It should be part of the regular monitoring. There should be a designated safe space that managers can go and talk to someone and offload. And it should be mandatory that someone sees them, no questions asked, once a week for a check-in. There's so much emphasis on strength and conditioning in football, but for mental health, they have to be the ones to speak up and ask for help, which I don't think is right. Matt's brother Mark played as a defender for Millwall from 1993 to 1995 and for AFC Wimbledon after that. Matt was found at home before passing away in hospital. I just wish he knew how much he was loved in those final moments, because he probably felt the world was against him, but it wasn't, Mark said. He sent me a text that night saying, I love you more than you'll ever know, mate. And I sent one back saying, I love you more. I didn't leave his side for the 5 days he was in the hospital, and I was sat up all night playing Millwall songs to him. Thankfully, all the family had a good chance to say goodbye. Obviously, still ongoing, so we'll see what else comes out about this. But yeah, quite sad, really. Very sad. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.